There we go. All right, guys, take a look at the board real quick, please. Let me adjust my exposure. All right, so in the back of the room, you will find your practice paper, watercolor paper, which is kind of thick, and then you will also see these handouts, which will tell you what to do on this paper. Your watercolor pencils can be used in numerous ways. I have a whole set back there that you can grab for yourself. The color names are at the bottom as well as the end. You'll need to have a cup of water and a few different sized brushes. And so this is what you'll do on your paper. You'll write your name and you'll write practice with pencils, and then you'll start at the top. Dry pencil on wet paper. So that means you wet the paper with your brush, just a little tiny bit. And then you try the watercolor pencil over top. And you'll notice the pencil kind of like absorbs into the paper. If you press really hard, it will start ripping the paper up. The next one is a dry pencil on dry paper. All right, so then I'll just color with the pencil. You can change the colors as you work too. So this is what it looks like, just dry on dry. And then wet pencil on dry paper will be the next one. Price is going to be in my video in Burl. So I'm just wetting the tip of the pencil, and then I'll come in and I'll paint with it. And that's how that works. Then you'll go down to the next one, which is painting within the lines. So you'll just draw some random shapes. I suggest a smaller paintbrush as you work on this one. And I'll change my color up so it's not so boring. What I'm going to do is I'll just fill in the shape with the color, and then I'll go in it with a paintbrush. But just like regular watercolor, you have to be careful not to go outside the lines with the wet paintbrush, because then the color will follow it, and then you will look like you colored outside of the lines. And we want this to look nice and neat and crisp. Of course, you can take your paintbrush and you can wet the tip of the pencil and do it that way first. But this is probably the way that most people are going to work. Now, the thing with watercolor pencils is you don't want to color in the entire image and then add water at the very end, because as you brush over, the pigment will collect on the bristles, and then it will get darker and darker and darker and more intense as you go away from where you started, and you don't want that to happen. So you have to kind of work in small increments. The next stage would be layering colors, 2 dry colors on dry colors. So then you would take 2 random whatever colors you want. Try to think about the colors you would want to use in your image, because you want to practice with those first. And then I'll add the water on top of it and see what I make. Ooh, red and blue make violet, guys. Did you know that? I'm pretty sure you did. You'll also notice that sometimes you can still see the pencil mark lines, and you won't be able to get rid of them, and that's okay, because that's the nature of this beast. The next one, so I'll do like maybe 4 or 5 all the way across, patches with different colors. The next one says 3 colors, dry on dry, so you'll layer 3 colors and then add water. The next 2 sections, 2 and 3 day layering, are going to be done in 2 days and 3 days. So the first day, 1 will be 1 color, and then you'll let it dry overnight, and then tomorrow you'll come back to it and add another color, and then see what happens. And then the next one will be 3 day layering, so you'll do the same process. 1 day, 1 color, let it dry overnight. 2 day, 2nd color, let it dry, and then 3rd color on top of that. And that is what you're going to do with the practice sheet. I am going to be looking at these practice sheets before I give you the okay to move on to your final, so I know that you understand how to use these pencils correctly. Okay? All right.